Roundtable, where we come together as data scientists to talk, to see how you're doing, to see how you're progressing, to get other people's views, listen to other people's views, give your own view. Whatever it is that you want to talk about related to data, I'm here for it. So I hope that you are too. Excuse me, how rude. Hope that you're doing well on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday. It is gorgeous weather out where I live. I woke up this morning, took my dog out, came back, had some breakfast, had some really good breakfast today, actually. And now I'm here live streaming for the next little bit, seeing what questions all of you have. So I'm here for whatever you'd like to talk about. Let me know what you're reading, what you're writing, what you're programming, what's your side project, what's your side project to your side project, what's your side project to the side project to the side project. We all have those, right? We all have little bits of code that we've used that nobody's really seen, or that, you know, we put away and they come back to later, right? We all have those little projects, right? Tell me about yours. What have you been working on? You do have something, don't you? You should. You should have something. If you're sitting there saying, I don't have a project, well, that's a problem. That's a problem. How are you gonna expect to improve as a data scientist if you don't actually do something, right? You got to do something, guys. Manoj, early in the chat, Manoj says, good morning, Sir Dennis. Greetings from Bangalore, India. How are you, Manoj? Manoj, did you change your username? I don't remember there being an X9Z. Did you change that? Let me know, Manoj. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for being here, my friend. Another great supporter, Casual Economist, is here. Sunday fun day. Absolutely, Casual Economist. And hey, what's more fun than learning data science? Yay! I hope that's part of the fun that you're having, Casual Economist. I know you told me you're going to be looking at some of the some certifications out there, so good for you for doing that. Let me know how those are going. Hopefully they're going well for you. But I am here for whatever you guys would like to talk about. Let me know. Let me know what's on your mind, guys. What are you guys up to? What are you guys doing? Manoj says, nope, it automatically changed. Okay. Manoj, I believe that's related to like how they changed your channel name versus your username. Because that happened to me on one of my YouTube accounts also, now that I think about it, where it used to be that your channel name was your username, but now you can have a different username from your channel name, I think is what it is, or something like that. Maybe that's what it's about, Manoj. So that's interesting. But glad you're here, Manoj. Thanks for being such a great supporter. Really appreciate you, buddy. But yeah, Sunday, hopefully we are going to have some fun today. I'm having some fun because I made myself a really good breakfast. Had some eggs, had some... have you guys ever had mashed cauliflower? I tried mashed cauliflower for the first time this morning. It was actually pretty good. It was the Bird's Eye brand, you know, from Walmart. You know, nothing special. But mashed cauliflower with like garlic and a little butter and a little salt, it was not bad. It was a pretty good substitute for mashed potatoes. Very, very low carb, very, very low calories. So let me know if you guys have tried that. I had it for the first time. Ed is in the chat. Hi, Ed. How are you? I think it's your first time. Ed says, hi, Dennis. Hi, Ed. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Ed, this is the Data Roundtable, where we come together with no agenda, no preset schedule. Whatever you guys want to talk about, I'm here for it. So let me know. It's Eder. Okay, Eder. I think it's Eder. I don't think it's Eder. I think it's Eder. So thanks, Eder. Nice to see you. Casual Economist says, that doesn't sound good. Can't lie. You know, you're right, Casual Economist. Cauliflower definitely turns people off. Like, cauliflower. But it's mashed up like a mashed potato, and it comes already with garlic, and then I added my own garlic, onion, and salt, seasoning salt, and it was actually pretty good. I kind of liked it. It was a pretty good portion, and the whole portion is like 90 calories, 0 carbs. It was not bad, you know, because I'm trying to avoid my carbs, you know, trying to watch what I eat. So, you know, mashed potatoes is not an option, but cauliflower mash was not bad. So Casual Economist, if you want to try it, you know, I think it was only a couple dollars a package. It wasn't very expensive, but yeah. I hear you. On the surface, it doesn't sound appetizing, but I was pleasantly surprised. It tasted pretty good. Manoj says, I'm doing good, sir. Dennis, how are you? I'm doing great, Manoj. Thanks for asking. I just working all the time. Yesterday I had a good swim in the afternoon also. I had a really good swim. Did a little bit of grocery shopping, just hanging out, just trying to, I answered some questions on video yesterday, which was good because I got some good questions. But I'm just trying to chop wood over here, Manoj. Every day, just chopping wood. Uh, BMP, welcome. I think it's your first time. Says, hi, I'm Bargavi. I think it's Bargavi. It's my first time here. I love your videos. Thanks so much. What do you guys usually talk about? Actually, I want to start data science. So I'm in my third year. How to start and where to start. So Bargavi, first of all, welcome. I'm glad to have you join in. This is a roundtable format where there is no agenda. So we talk about anything related to data. So if you have specific questions, feel free to put them in the chat. But anybody is welcome to bring up any topic that they want. So yeah, welcome. Feel free to keep on coming back. I'm here just about every day. Whatever time this is in your time zone, it's usually 1500 GMT. But I'm here to talk whatever you want, Eater. So feel free to contribute whatever you'd like. I'm sorry, no, that was Bargabi. Sorry. Eater says, "Great talk. I have been following you. Good data science insights and discussions. Congratulations." Oh, thanks a lot, Eater. Yeah. Eater, I started this, I took stock recently. I started this 18 months ago. And from day one, my goal was always to put out honest, real world data science information. I don't talk theoretics. I'm sharing my real world experience after being a data science leader for a long time. So yeah, I'm here to talk real world stuff. I don't sell false dreams. I don't sell cheap courses. I try to give the truth. So thank you, Eater. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate that feedback. I'm glad that message is coming across because that's what I wanted from day one. So thank you for that. Casual Economist says, swimming every day and low carb meals. Are you training for the Baywatch recast? Nice. I love that. I love that Baywatch reference. And I think most people around the world know what Baywatch is because that was one of the things they would always say, right? That Baywatch was the most popular show across the entire world, right? Because of the reruns and all that. I'm sure there's still some places in the world that show Baywatch. But that's hilarious, Casual Economist. But you know what, Casual Economist? Not the Baywatch recast. But I don't think I've said this. But honestly, I'm just trying to get ready for CES. CES is coming up, and I love that trade show. It's so much fun. And I've already got my pass. I'm going to be going as media again, which means it's a full schedule because when you go with media, there's extra media days they invite you to. And there's extra parties for the media. So you kind of got to be in shape to do CES. Like you can't be out of shape. You're going to be walking, you're going to be on your feet, you're going to be talking all day. I'm going to be carrying a lot of equipment with me at all times so that I can record from the conference floor. You kind of, you gotta have your act together to go to CES, right? So yeah, part of me is just kind of motivated by that to be able to create good content for you guys from that show. For those of you guys that don't know, CES is a massive, massive trade show here in Las Vegas. It's one of the biggest trade shows in the world. It's over multiple hotels, multiple convention center lobbies, multiple parties, multiple places for events. Like they'll do keynotes at the special stadiums and stuff like that. So you're constantly on the move. I mean, if you're not going to a seminar or a party or something, you can always go walk the show floor, and there's always something to see on the show floor. Last year I got to go to the John Deere booth, and you can climb up the big tractors. I remember I was there, and they have like the big tractors, like the ones that are like 10 feet in the air, like 15 feet in the air. And they invited me to go up. Like there's a line to go up, because they invite the media. And on one hand, I thought, I don't want to do that. But on the other hand, I thought, where else am I going to be able to do that? Like I can't just walk onto a construction site and say, hey, let me go up on your big old excavator, right? So like you do things like that because I'm never gonna have a chance to go on a big tractor, so I did that, for just for fun. So you got to be in shape to be able to do those things, right? So yeah. So casual economist, as crazy as that sounds, because I know it's a little crazy. I just want to have a good show and be able to bring you guys good content. I can't be doing that if I can't keep up with the walking and all that, right? So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm being a little bit honest there, a little bit transparent, I guess, or vulnerable there, but that's kind of part of my motivation right now, to be honest with you. I just want to have fun at the show. I want to be able to go and say, yeah, yeah, let's do this. Oh, there's a party? Yeah, sure, I'm going. Like, like just like you're going to be there from like 8 a.m. to like 9 p.m. at night every single day for like a week, right? So yeah, that's the honest answer, casual economist. Um, so Bhargavi says, okay, Dennis, got it. Can we talk about the AWS outage? Actually, I want to do an analysis project on this topic. What would you like to talk about it? Okay, Bhargavi, let me come back to that. Let me quickly answer Manoj's question to stay on track here. Manoj says, what's the cost of the pass? So Manoj, so the funny thing about CES is that it's a trade show only. So it's not open to the people. You have to have some sort of affiliation. So you can either be an executive at an electronics company, an analyst for a financial firm or like a bank, and then you can also be media. Like you can't be like the general public and go. So I qualify for the media pass because even for media, that like there's qualifications. I have to submit my analytics and show them, like my channel numbers and things like that. So yeah, so I qualify as media, but you have to qualify in one of the categories that's not open to anybody, which really makes it more impressive that it's so big. I think last year they had 140,000 people because people from all over come. They come from all over the world, all over the world. So yeah, it's a big show, but it's not open to the public. You have to qualify. Like even if you say, "Oh, I'm an analyst," you have to like get a letter from your HR department saying that you're employed, and you can't be like an oil analyst. You have to specifically be a consumer products or an IT or technology analyst. So yeah, it's a closed show, even though it's like one of the biggest in the world. So there really is kind of like not a cost per se. It's intended to be for like industry people. So yeah, I qualify as media. This is my second year going. Last year, my show was a little shorter than I wanted it to be. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so Bhargavi, guys, if anybody wants to help, Bhargavi wants to talk about the AWS outage. I want to do an analysis project on this topic. What would you like to talk about? So Bhargavi, I would love to hear your view on what you think you want to analyze from that. The reason I say that, and guys, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm open to being wrong here. But my understanding on the AWS side is that it wasn't there's nothing to analyze there. It was a human error, right? There was a human error in their DNS that, caused lookups to fail. So I'm not sure there's anything to analyze. Now, if it had been something like they were overloaded because it was a special Black Friday shopping day, and, are there analytics that you can use to find out if the cloud's going to go down? Yeah, okay, maybe there's an analysis project there, right? But when it's a human error project like that, you can still get a case study out of it. But that's probably more of a management or change management or integration type of analysis. Like I don't see a data-based analysis there. So Bhargavi, it's possible that you might have a different view, or you guys may know more information about this outage than I do. I'm more than happy to be wrong. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. But from what I've read, and and by the way, this is the information that AWS lets out, right? Maybe there is other things there. But I don't see it as being like a data-driven error or something that has like a lot of data to analyze, So let me know what you guys think. I'm happy to be wrong. So Bargavi says actually how much it impacted, like one thing impacted a lot of industries, like how centralized it is. Thank you for your view too. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Bargavi, I think you could get a case study out of that, but that's not data, right? I mean, you could talk about the over reliance on AWS and maybe the kind of like the concentration that people don't realize, right? Like the concentration people don't realize of how important the cloud is, right? Like you as an individual are using 7 different apps a day, right? We all have different apps that we like to use. So let's say you have 7 different apps. And to you, there's 7 different companies, 7 different logins you have and all that. But if they're all using AWS, then yes, you do have a single point of failure, right? You just don't know it. And that outage helped us realize that, right? That, wait a minute, all of the apps I use I'm actually just an AWS user, not a 7 app user, right? So yeah, I could see that. But again, that's not really data. That's more like, you know, like just concentration, right? So yeah, by the way, there is a concentration risk, right? That is one of the recognized risks out there. So you could do a case study on that type of concentration risk, but again, that's not data. That's like management, right? Bargavi says, yeah, more of a case study. Yeah, you can get a case study, Bargavi. It just won't be data related. Like there's no data to analyze for that, right? I'll tell you where there is some data to analyze. And for those of you in the chat, I know I get a lot of questions on finance, so I'll give you guys a rare project guidance. I won't call this a project idea, but Bargavi, if you want to talk about something like a case study that's a lot more data related, I proposed this to somebody else. They didn't want to do it. That's okay. Have you guys heard about the Magnificent Seven when it comes to investing in the U.S. stock market? Right? There's the Magnificent Seven of basically a lot of tech stocks, right? So the Magnificent Seven are like, Facebook, Google, Netflix, Tesla, Nvidia, a couple others, right? You guys get the point, right? There's the Magnificent Seven, right? So what I think would be an interesting case study along the same lines, Bargavi, is I don't know how many people realize how much of those stocks you own, even though you think you're diversified because you own different ETFs. Like if you go and look at all the ETFs out there, how many of them own Meta? How many of them own Nvidia? How many own Apple? Right? So you think you're distributed across different ETFs, like, oh, I got my dividend ETF, I got my tech ETF, I got my S&P 500, but all of them hold like Nvidia, right? You may not like Mark Zuckerberg, but you want him to succeed because he affects a lot of your stocks, right? Like I think Zuckerberg's a weirdo, but I rely on Meta, right? So Bargavi, I think if you wanted to do that, I think that is a much more interesting like case study, right? Like go out, how many people's retirement accounts in the US rely on SPY? Well, SPY is heavily weighted towards the Magnificent Seven, so you're really just investing in Magnificent Seven, right? Oh no, but it's okay. I got this other, ETF from Vanguard that, well, no, that ETF also has 20% Apple, right? So you actually hold more of these stocks than you think you do, right? So Bargavi, if you want to stay within that same theme of these failures, like you could do that, right? Because what happens if Nvidia fails? Like if Nvidia fails, like a lot of ETFs fail, right? Like a lot of things would go very, very, very poorly if Meta were to ever fail, right? So yeah, that's what I think, Bargavi. I think that if you were to look at that, that would be an interesting, much more data-oriented case study to do. So let me know if you guys ever end up doing that one, because I think I'd be interested in reading that. I think that would be a really interesting case study to read. But yeah, that's what I think, Bhargavi. So, like I said, happy to be wrong on any of this. But concentration risk does make for an interesting case study if you guys ever want to do that. But yeah. So, good questions, Bhargavi. Thanks for being here. And yeah, I like that you're adapting to the format. Anything goes in the format. Bhargavi says, sure, I will look into it. Yeah, let me know what you come up with. You can still continue the Amazon one, the AWS one. I just don't see a lot of data there. I just don't. Happy to be wrong. Bhargavi says it's interesting indeed. It is. It is. I mean, if you, whatever, feel free to explore them. There's nothing wrong with that. It's healthy to be able to put together a case study based around risk, right? But yeah, I just don't see a lot of data on the AWS one. But there's others out there. There's others out there. But Gavi, I do want to commend you for at least having something to work on, right? You're working on something to move yourself forward, to, improve yourself, right? So good for you. Good for you. We should all have that, right? So I hope everyone listening does have that, because that's how you become a good data scientist. You're going to need time to develop, time to work things through, time to make mistakes, right? Not every study goes smoothly. Not every study gives you clear results on the first try, and you have to kind of rework things, right? That happens too, right? So yeah, Bhargavi, at least you're working on something. So good for you, my friend. That's better than most people who are just like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I gotta wait for this. I gotta wait for that. It'll be better next week. Just start. Just get going. So good for you, Bhargavi. All right, guys. So I'm going to hop over to Instagram. In case you guys don't know, I do stream on Instagram afterwards. But thanks so much for the questions. Really good talk. As always, please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I will see you again tomorrow.